Have you ever read a book called The Chimp Paradox?
No, that sounds fun though.
No,
Tell, yeah.
it's a really good model for, I guess, confidence in yourself and success. And it comes from that mindset of, we're all chimps trying to make it in this big world. I won't ruin it for you if you haven't read it, but go read that book, The
Yeah,
Chimp
man,
Paradox.
that sounds fun. I
It's
mean,
a
have
big
you watched
shout.
The Chimp Empire on Netflix?
No, let's
It's
go. I love it.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we're so similar to chimps, and they are brutal species. The
Is it
wars
more
they
of a
fight.
docu-series or is it a
I,
fiction?
no, it's a documentary series, I think.
Ah, okay. Okay, I
Man, they
like
are
that.
like, yeah, very fascinating species. We're
Does he follow
we're
that
so
woman? What's her name? Sarah. Oh, what was the lady who went and studied the chimp? She has like the biggest.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. She's very old now, isn't she?
It might be Suzanne something.
Yeah, she's very famous.
I'm
Yeah, yeah.
generalizing, clearly.
Yeah, she's kind of as big as David Attenborough, I think.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, she
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a huge amount of. I think she did the biggest research on chimps. She went
But
and
you know
lived with like
what's
50 of them.
crazy? What's crazy is that we are 99.8% similar in our DNA with the chimps, and we still can't talk to them. So imagine how we will be in 50, 100 years where we can't talk to humans that are advanced like artificial intelligence and
Yeah.
artificial intelligence. I mean, there's the stuff that you do in this world of blockchain and what taking something like weed, like a very fun culture that people, like comes from that, popularized in the 1970s hippie culture, right? And you throw this whole technology on it. Most people go, wow, I can't even communicate with a species like Ricardo Capone because he's like a different, do you know what I
That's
mean?
what my wife tells me quite often. Are we married?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like at the dinner table, you go on about this new strain, and she's like, have you
Um,
watched the latest episode of, Kim
yeah.
Kardashian's series? That's funny, man. That's
You're
funny.
quite right, though. I mean, if you imagine where we are today and how far we've come in just the last 100 years, give it another century, and I think the way that technology will communicate with itself without humans intervention
Yeah,
or in the middle. And I saw a research study where two different language models were put together and they were communicating backwards and forwards, and they ended up developing their own language. They were speaking in their own
yeah,
language by the end of the study.
yeah,
And they tried to become more efficient, obviously, in their communication backwards and forwards. And English, the language they were programmed to communicate in,
yeah,
clearly wasn't cutting it for them. And so they'd skip that out, and it had become mostly a numerical language, but to get the points across backwards and forwards. And so I feel like with the onset of AI, we may see a lot more of that in the future, a whole new communication tree that we cannot communicate with.
yeah,
The Internet of Things will just be talking to your car will be talking to your fridge to let you know that you're home and to chill the milk a little bit more for that coffee or
yeah,
whatever it may be.
yeah,
That language will not be understood by us.
yeah. But I think the exciting thing about AI for me, it's always about that real world application. And that's what I love about Dr. Green. It's not just about NFTs and these unique designs that you can have, that you can engage with, and that has a very different meaning to you in the digital world, which I don't mind. I think it's great. A lot of people like digital art, and that's cool. But for me, what really makes sense is when I interact with something from the digital world in the real world. So we're talking about real facilities where you grow marijuana, and we're talking about buying and selling. We're talking about consumption. So there's something physical that I am touching and feeling and experiencing that is being enabled by this technology world. The same thing I feel very strongly about the Tesla Optimus robots. They're pretty much, autonomous cars, not on wheels, but on legs, and they look like humans. And imagine a world where we have 20 billion of these. We maximize the earth capacity and resources, where we live in a world that's truly there's a truly real world where I go shopping or I drop my kids to school, where I hang out with my friends. There are machines around me, and they understand me, I understand them, right? I think that to me is very fascinating, and they can enable us in many different ways, just like the fridge and the car talk to each other. I can have different programs for my robots, be a nanny for my kids, drop my son to school, take my daughter to her ballet classes. Can you make me a
Yeah,
cup of coffee? Can we have a conversation on the podcast about, what's the latest crazy thing that's going on in the world? And it can do that, To me,
absolutely.
it's real. It's there. It's with me.
Yeah, and assisting as well,
Yeah.
which is the most important part, right?
Yeah.
We
And,
are
and
creating these machines to assist human trials and tribulations, no matter how small that may be. Some people are solving the problem of walking, like Elon Musk with the Neuralink, and being able to give people the movement back, whereas other small robots are assisting you with your ticketing when you go to the DMV or your motor bureau to go and get your driving license, which I did the other
yeah.
day actually. And I went to collect a license, and I walked in. There was a robot that greeted me. There were several different government departments in the building. The robot asked me where I wanted to go. I touched on the screen where I was going, and the robot took me,
Yeah.
follow me,
Yeah.
turned around and went. And I was like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
follow the robot.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the exciting thing for me, and I always been excited about this as a kid, I think I understood the concept when I was 14, is this idea of industrialized societies that we create. I think the biggest one was Henry Ford inventing the car, which was, from a lot of frustration we were facing in the world, especially in cities like New York, where horses were just not being able to scale. They were causing a lot of issues. Then we created a
Well,
culture of being
I had a
anti-horses.
very deep conversation about that exact thing 3 days ago with one of my business associates. And I have this conversation quite often because it's one of my most intriguing business success stories. And the origin of Henry Ford actually mass producing the car was through a partnership of his with the Rothschild family. And they were, at the time, selling oil only for lamps. So oil lamps were the primary use for petroleum. And so Henry Ford had this idea with the car, and the Rothschilds funded him very heavily to develop it mass produced so that they could sell more oil to the motor industry rather than just these lamps. So if you imagine an industry that was built out of from lamps, right? And the need to sell more oil because the lamps weren't cutting it. And hey, here's a guy who's got this cool little piece of tech that could get rid of horses.
Yeah,
And
it
so
is. And the
amazing.
outcome of that is, there's a totally different world. Roads, traffic systems, driving car licenses, car dealerships, car parts, getting obsessed about car brands, TV shows. It's a complete society shift, right? You can have the same thing with Optimus Robot. All of a sudden, you have like all the, roads will look different, schools would look different. There are repair shops everywhere for Optimus robots. There are all these online e-commerce shops that you can buy stuff off that are, somebody might want an extension of a deck for a robot, right? You can go buy
Amazing.
that. Yeah. So
Jesus.
but that's when they launched the Optimus robot. It's like, it doesn't have a penis. What, the girls are gonna go crazy. What are we gonna do? And but that's the idea, right? Is that you're gonna end up with all these crazy blockchain technology solutions for managing robots, transparency of robots, robot privacy. It just becomes a new industrialized society.
Well, I believe that blockchain technology is the only way to have something like robotic information being stored or moved because, well, it removes the possibility of it being manipulated. And if there was, God forbid, a death that perhaps a robot was responsible for, then it comes to question, did the robot have an accident? Who's liable, the company, or was the robot hacked? And I guess having all of the data on a blockchain would be able to provide a level of accountability to any kind of situation that would arise from something like that. So I think it's quite important, blockchain technology, in the way that we're moving into this new world, for sure. Being able to hold everyone and everything accountable is quite important. You know, you see it with trading of the stock market and these brokers who end up losing everybody their money, or, you know, even rogue brokers who take people's money. I think that if this was on the blockchain, then we wouldn't have this issue, because if my assets were secured in my wallet and I make all of these decisions and these choices, then it would aid me in making better decisions and, you know, being responsible for the decisions too.
And that's what I love about Dr. Green. You know, we were on the Mario No-File space yesterday, and you come across a lot of blockchain technology projects that kind of take the Mickey out of the technology, and they kind of, you know, make the technology look bad on the stage world. And when you come across something like Dr. Green, you really realize how professional, smart people can use blockchain in a real world example to its like maximum power.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that when the application is made with a technology like this by a firm who is serious, you know, you get great results. But when it's when I see it used for meme coins, I don't want to. It's got to be the biggest pump in the history of the planet, but everybody's getting behind it, and it frustrates me.
Yeah, did you see that Hawk Tuah girl did the meme queen, and she's going to prison.
She's going to prison for it. No, she's not.
I was watching a video of some influencer who is an expert with the SEC, and he is an investor, and he was breaking down why she would end up in prison.
Okay.
Because apparently that coin did $500 million of retail investment.
Jesus.
Apparently. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I heard. And then everyone lost their money, and then she started to dump all her coins.
And well, of course everybody lost their money, because that's the whole reason that those coins exist in the first place. So that somebody can drive the hype, i.e. the Hawk Tuah fad, I guess. She became a fad, right? So that drives the hype. Everybody gets in and buys in. And then the people who created it use those funds as exit liquidity. You know, you find that it doesn't have a market maker behind it. You know, if it did, they'd be in trouble too, no doubt. As we just saw with quite a few market makers in the last few months that have been sort of grabbed by the SEC for manipulating the market. And, you know, when it comes to that kind of thing happening, rug pulls in the crypto space, that it gives everyone a bad taste in their mouth, and it sows the seeds of doubt for projects like ours that, well, we couldn't rug pull anyway. We're not a coin, like a meme coin. So some people say, hey, what if you decide to rug pull this? And it makes me laugh, because it's like, well, clearly you don't understand what we're doing. Otherwise you'd know that that's not a possibility. And in addition to that, the NFT itself, we're selling at $10,000 per NFT, which is an extension of our license, which is a business. It's a business model. $10,000 with 5,000 NFTs for sale is a $50 million mint. So I see a lot of people giving me comments like, oh, how do we have the audacity to do a $50 million mint? Well, we spent $85 million to get here. So it's when we eventually mint out, which I hope is fast, we don't break even. But those funds will go back into operations in order to expand globally and make sure that we are operational in every country where cannabis is legalized on the planet. So all of that, pretty much all of it, some will go to marketing and other places, but a big majority of it will go into operational procedures.
Yeah, and does what's your break-even point? Do you have to do another round to get more, or the mints that you do in the first launch, it's enough to kind of grow that into a sustainable business backed by local markets where weed is legalized?
Exactly. We will make our margins when the cannabis is distributed. That's our
Okay.
primary business model. And so
Yeah.
it's actually a very smart way of creating retail outlets. So
Right.
rather
Right.
than getting
Yes.
into
Yeah.
retail,
Yeah.
instead of opening a ton of stores ourselves and having all those overheads, better for us to create an NFT and let other people go and create those storefronts and distribute to their clients, and we will remain the wholesaler. I think the idea is not too dissimilar to Amazon and the way that they have Amazon stores or Amazon sellers who are just on their platform, who and Amazon fulfill those orders and
Yeah.
distribute.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a very similar model.
It is. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's a lot of people that are doing this full time. They're just sellers on Amazon, and they
Correct.
don't make the products. They just sell it.
Yeah, they don't even have to hold stock, most of these
Yeah.
guys, you know. So it's really convenient, and not holding stock is really important when that stock is a scheduled drug, because that's where the regulatory part comes in.
Yeah.
So having to be licensed, regulated, constantly checked by these government bodies to make sure that you're not breaking any rules or losing any cannabis out the back door.
Yeah.
That's a stressful endeavor, and it prevents a lot of people from getting involved in this industry. And it means
Yeah.
that the only people involved in the industry are those that are already very wealthy and have a lot of time on their hands. So this project aims to bridge the gap between those wealthy investors, VCs, etc., large pharma that are currently controlling the cannabis market, bridges the gap between them and the street guy, the hustler who wants to legitimize himself. He wants to trade cannabis, maybe has been doing it illegally for some time. That guy right there would benefit the most from this platform, because he's never going to have the opportunity to have 10 million quid in the bank and go and launch the facility and spend all the years and pass all the checks. It's very difficult. And
Yeah.
so a lot of those guys do have $10,000, and they can put that into a digital storefront, and then the work comes. And the reason why I don't fear the SEC, or I think one of the lads on maybe it was Trav, or one of the boys on the discussion yesterday on Mario's pod was mentioning that the SEC is really clamping down on a lot of these crypto projects. And where I feel very confident, very comfortable in what we're doing is that this is not in any way a security. So you can't buy one of these NFTs and just hope to get rich overnight. And, it's not a hawk tour. It's not it's not one of these coins. It's a tangible business that you're buying the keys to. That's why we call it a digital key. Essentially, you're accessing your store. And I'm going to show you some of that stuff anyway during this conversation.
Yeah, of course.
I know I
And so,
briefly showed the
yeah.
demo.
So, have you got approval from all jurisdictions that have weed legal around the world?
No, not directly. So the way that we work in jurisdictions where we don't have our own approvals is we partner with those that do. And so
Right.
we craft partnerships in various different states in the US and Canada, for example, where we provide our technology as a service provider to their firm, and we distribute to them our cannabis for them to resell. So
Yeah.
they receive our cannabis, we provide the customers, and they deliver. And it's a profit share model with those partners.
Yeah. So what?
We
What?
do intend to have every
Yeah.
single jurisdiction as our own, but
Yeah. Of course. Of course. You got to start
cost a billion,
somewhere, and that
cost a
makes a lot of
billion
sense.
dollars, cost a
Yeah.
billion dollars to get there.
Yeah. And what if a shop owner that wants to get a key, and he lives not in any of those jurisdictions, but he wants to sell in jurisdictions where weed is legal? Let's say, I live in New Zealand. It's not legal here, at least recreational. I think medicinal is.
Medicinal is legal, yeah.
Yeah. So if I want to sell recreation, let's say in Texas from here, can I do that as a seller with a key?
There's no geofence. So what's
Oh,
really
yes.
beautiful
Yeah.
about this is, let's say, for example, yes, the answer is yes. You can sell anywhere where it's legal. And let's imagine if you were a store in Thailand, because I've got a lot of those at the moment, pulling my arm off for these keys. One thing about the Thais, they are exceptionally good rapport builders. Don't know if you've ever visited Thailand or been there,
I
but
have, yeah.
the people are lovely and for the people. So they create bonds and connections, unlike anywhere else I've ever seen on the planet, actually, with their tourism groups. And that's why they have such big tourism. Amazingly, their government legalized cannabis fully very recently. So Thailand is now every knocking shop has turned into a cannabis store. You'll see as you walk around the streets of Thailand. By the way, I think that's great for the Thai people because a lot of the tourism previously was based around sex, and now it's based around cannabis, which is great for their people.
Yeah.
With regard to those stores, gaining friendships, gaining custom, and gaining that loyalty almost, they've got an NFT. When that person goes back to their country, it's very likely they can continue selling them cannabis. They don't need to deliver it from Thailand to the Netherlands or to California. But if that person still rapport with that shop owner and goes to that shop owner's storefront and orders cannabis in the Netherlands or in California, it's delivered from a local dispensary to them. And so that store owner is still being rewarded for that rapport and that sale once that person has left the country and gone home. So it's massive for that kind of scenario. Likewise, in the United States, there are many states that are legal, 24 to be exact. And in the 24 states where cannabis is legal, you can't distribute between those states. You can't cross state lines with cannabis or it becomes a federal offense as trafficking.
Yeah.
So if you've got a store in Colorado, you can't sell to somebody in California, right? Because you can't ship it to them. However, with our setup, if you've got your store in Colorado and got people there from your store go, to California on holiday or whatever, or you got people in Cali, you can still deliver to them because it will just be delivered from a local dispensary in California. And so
Yeah.
nothing crosses state lines. The way that we get cannabis into each state, we don't ship flower. We register the seed and the genome onto the blockchain, and we send our seed. Or we send our tissue cultures that are registered on the blockchain, and then a local cultivator in state grows that cannabis to our SOPs. So we put in their facility thermal imaging cameras, we put pH testers in the soil, sensors all on the wall for wind, humidity, and we monitor the environment very specifically to know that that cannabis that's from us is growing in the way that it needs to grow from our master growers. And all that information feeds back to our data center in Portugal, and we analyze all that information every day. And we can make adjustments to these partner facilities all around the world if need be. So if the mix isn't right on the chemical balance, or if a pesticide needs to be used specifically, we can initiate that from Portugal, and it happens in the partner facility again, or by robotics and AI. So AI can track all of that information on behalf of us.
Yeah. It's almost like Dr. Green is not a blockchain company or a blockchain kind of coin or NFT. It's like, your technology ecosystem must be so vast. Blockchain is a tool that you use to kind of create these digital stores. But you must be like, if you're managing strains and suppliers and partners and government relationships and these digital stores and customers, you must have a very vast CRM systems, IoT, sensors, AI, data sensors, and blockchain is like a part of that ecosystem is what I'm sort of sensing.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. One of our technology partners is fantastic in the pharmaceutical space, and they utilize AI and robotics for big warehousing systems for pharma. Somebody goes and places an order in the pharmacy. It's robots within the facility that pick and pack those different medications and prepare them to be delivered to the customer. And that watching how that worked and understanding it, seeing how robotics can be used in a warehousing system really got me excited for what we could do with plants and how we could automate a lot of the systems. Growing plants is the easiest and hardest thing to do on the planet. It's so easy to kill plants. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
insanely easy.
Yeah.
You might have microclimates in your facility or pockets of environment that you just, with the naked eye, you wouldn't be able to see them. But we utilize technology and alerting systems to know that if the airflow changes in a certain way, or if a fan is knocked and moved, and if you imagine you've got fans in your room and one of them is knocked slightly, there may be a pocket in the corner of the room that's got no airflow, and that pocket will increase in temperature and become a nuisance to the rest of your plants. And your staff can be walking around there, not noticing a single thing about that. With the right amount of sensors, the alert system would let us know, and we can make those adjustments to the environment. And I think that if you control the environment, you can control the plant. That's the basis of it, right? If you've got that environment locked down. A major part that I don't talk about very often that we have in our facility is a satellite system. So we have a meteorological setup within our facility where we tap in to certain meteorological satellites that feed data to our facility. And the reason why I take information from around the planet is because when you are growing strains of weed, they need different environments in order to flourish. And so you might get a star dog, which is a Californian strain. And you compare that to something like lemon haze, which is native to the Netherlands, or Afghan Kush, that's native to a mountain in Afghanistan. They naturally need very different environments to just grow to their full potential. There is something called strain stability that's really important with cannabis. And the higher your strain stability rating, the more large-scale contracts you can get for medical-grade cannabis around the world. And it's fairly simple stuff. Like if you imagine the numbers, if you've got a 21% THC and a 3% CBD strain, every time you grow that strain, it should be 21% and 3%. The variables shouldn't differ or falter too much. Actually, the law states, in Portugal at least, if it moves by more than 0.8%, then you lose your strain stability. So utilizing the satellite system, what I'm basically doing is I'm giving the plants their optimal natural environment. So rather than having to manufacture an environment to get that strain stability right, nature's a wonderful thing. If you just provide nature with its environment, its natural environment, the plants will flourish to their optimal capacity, and that will be the 21 and 3% if that's the strain numbers. And so when it comes to actually implementing that, by utilizing satellites and changing the environments within our facility, if I've got an Afghan Kush over here, every day the satellite feeds information to our facility about the temperature of the ground, the relative humidity of the air, the lumens, how bright the sun is on the surface of the planet, from all these data points around the Earth, and feeds that in. And then my facility changes its metrics inside to mimic the outside world. And so by mimicking the natural environment, we're able to achieve a strain stability of 0 point, and then it's the 8th decimal place, 0.000000081 of a percent in our fluctuation. So our strain stability is really high just by utilizing the technology of meteorological satellites. It's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the exciting thing I see from Dr. Green in terms of what you guys are doing, that, in 5-10 years' time, you guys can be the next Salesforce. It becomes a digital transformation platform for not just, being a digital store for marijuana, but can be a platform that any business can use to manage any type of plant. It can be used to manage growing plants on the moon, on Mars, all sorts of different things. I'm just spitballing and throwing something like way far into the future, but this is the great thing about, I guess, entrepreneurship and investments and business growth and the creation of the likes of Silicon Valleys, is that you see these hints into the future, and Dr. Green is kind of like, it's creating a mature system using all these new technology and reality, and then eventually it becomes big enough to become a tool that everybody can use with supercomputers, AI, data, and satellites to really do whatever we're doing today and do it way better.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of everything you just said, and being able to consider that with a guy like Elon, we may be on Mars in 6 years. Is his plan?
Yeah.
2030, is it?
Yeah.
And so there will be applications there that are utilized for plant matter and discovering that. And what's really important, and where we kind of set the bar, is we're monitoring the genome sequence of those plants, right? And that's what's being registered on chain. So if we were to be populating another planet or terraforming it, there may be a need for data and information about genomes to identify any long-term hereditary problems in plants or any vegetable matter. So our technology and the way that we analyze that genome can be applied to any vegetable matter. So it doesn't just need to be cannabis. It just so happens to be that we are a cannabis company. And so that's where this technology was developed. But we could utilize this to trace olives, cucumbers. Where did your seeds come from? Well, we can find out, and we can trace them back.
Yeah.
And so adding that kind of accountability to even things like foodstuffs is really important. How many times have you been in the supermarket and you see the healthy food aisle?
Yeah.
Does it not make you wonder what the rest of the food is, right? my CEO asks me this all the time, Max White. What's the rest of the food then, if this is the healthy section?
Yeah.
So by putting our technology to those foods, these bio-organic foods that they claim to be, well, put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Olive Man, and show us where your olives came from and when they were cultivated and what pesticides were used and all of that information. As a consumer, I'd love to be able to scan my food and just see, oh yeah, this is safe,
Yeah.
and know that it really is, because that data is on a blockchain. It's not just made up by, I was about to drop a horrible a food company's name then, but I might get sued, so I probably won't do that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you think about New Zealand, they're known for producing premium food around the world. So if anybody messes with that, there was a company in New Zealand that sold wine overseas, and they diluted their wine with water, and they got caught, and they got fined 1.7 million or something, or maybe, I don't know, maybe more than that, because that destroys the New Zealand brand in many ways. I mean, we're known for food, cheese. In China, it's milk powder, so that has to be protected. And blockchain technology and tracing the sources of food and growth and farms, grass-fed meat, all the little details. It's very important. I had Brian Corey Dobbs on my show. He's a science journalist, and he did a documentary called Blue Planet Red, how Mars was blue like Earth and then turned red, and how there's evidence of different early signals of plants that are starting to grow on Mars. So how can we protect that? How can we use blockchain to study that and see how it's growing? And so the more we are on Mars, the more metaforming we do. At the same time, we're also looking and protecting what's already there. And you have the same thing with a moon for Jupiter, which we have just sent a satellite to study it. There's lots of lakes and water under the frozen surface.
The ice,
If you're finding stuff, what do you do with the data? How you monitor it? How you study it? I had another guy on my show, Stephen Moore, and he is a mathematician, and he is creating a new time clock, which does not use the theory of relativity. And he's trying to create a universal clock. So when things happen in different planets across the universe, it is captured with one time. So with one time measurement, you know exactly the events that happen on Mars, on Moon, on Jupiter, on the sun. You can capture it right at that time, and they're using a one universal clock. So if you imagine there are thousands and thousands of flights and logistics, things going back and forth between Mars and Earth, this universal clock studies that. So it's fascinating that everybody involved in all these different things are creating all these amazing things. And blockchain and what Dr. Green's doing is kind of like,
creating a clock like that.
Yeah, well, watch the podcast. I'll send you a link.
I'm gonna watch it. That sounds really intriguing.
He's a very fascinating.
The Big Bang.
Yeah.
We're in London. We have the Big Ben. I don't know.
Yeah, I know the Big Ben. Yeah, I think one of the his study, and when it matures, will eventually help us understand how can we travel by converting matter into energy. So, you see a lot of these, studies around UFOs, and there are all these videos as how is a UFO going from here to here in seconds? It's pulling 3,000 Gs. How is it doing that? And Stephen's argument is it's actually converting from, it's defying the theory of relativity of time and space. It's turning matter, like we are in physical carbon form, into energy, and then it's quickly going into a different spot. And so we started talking about, if we could do that, what does life look like in 1,000 years? Like you and I can be like, hey, let's have a podcast. Where are you? You're in Dubai. I'm in New Zealand. Okay, I can convert myself from matter to energy, and boom, back to matter in front of you, and we can have a face-to-face. Or we can go to Paris, have a croissant, have a coffee, and chill out. And then boom, we can turn back into energy and transport straight to wherever we want to go in the world. It's a crazy idea, but there are people out there that are like really thinking about these things.
Cool shit comes from crazy concepts, right? So
yeah, it does.
We all remember the Star Trek. What was it called? I said we remember it, but then I forgot what it was called.
Yeah.
Where they could see each other on the device, and that was before camera phones.
Yeah.
It was like the idea of being able to see who you're talking to at a distance was insanity. And well, look at us now. We're able to sit down together and have a coffee and talk about life and cannabis in the world.
Yeah. So tell me more about Dr. Green. How did this idea come about? Like, where do you start? And was it like a marijuana business in the beginning, and then you thought maybe you can use blockchain to kind of really, create this like digital world of retail stores?
You want me to share my screen and share?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Let me have a look here. Let me see what I can share. Can you see my screen?
I can, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I'll show you through some stuff. I mean, we had this vision to revolutionize the industry. We were a cannabis company. For the last 5 years, I've been the chief technology officer of this firm. And we wanted to use blockchain technology to, support our traceability system. So initially, we started off developing the traceability by combining the genome of the plant, the mitochondrial genetic and the nuclear genetic. And when we combine those two together, we get a public and a private key pair. So with that public and private key, we're able to identify exactly where the plants come from and know that it is the plant that it's supposed to be. Blockchain technology is just the only way to add integrity to that data so that we can't manipulate it and no one else can manipulate it along the way. So that's when we started to look at smart contracts and how we could utilize the blockchain to store all of this data and point to the right places. The regulators loved it. We were able to secure ourselves some licensing to do this. And I guess accountability again is the primary motive for that. We want to make sure that it's safe. We want to make sure we're innovative as a company, and we want to make sure that everybody in this industry is being held accountable for the distribution and the dissemination of cannabis. We have a facility over in Portugal that's our primary lab. So this that you can see is our genome sequencing facility and our entire laboratory for everything that we do with cannabis. And what we do here is we take a look at the human genome and the plant genomics also, and we cross-reference those to see how we can best fix particular people and their problems. And so this is the lab where we developed the technology to trace the cannabis, and also where we, I guess, send all of our packaging from. We store all the cannabis in that facility and we package it for distribution globally. We took a license for cultivation, manufacture, import, export, wholesale distribution for Dr. Green, a separate license to our primary facility and a brand new business just next door, with a special authorization to trade cannabis on the Ethereum blockchain if utilizing ERC 721 tokens to facilitate the trading. Some of our core team members, I mean, you met one of those last night, our CMO, Swan Sit, wonderful lady with a background at Nike, Estee Lauder, Revlon, and of course, Dr. Green. She sits on 2 publicly traded boards and was the lady responsible for launching, or I guess not launching, but responsible for being the head of digital behind the Just Do It campaign. A massive marketing campaign for Nike, probably the most iconic marketing campaign on the planet. Then we've got one of our partners, Chloe Villano. Chloe Villano is the lady over in the United States who's running our USA division. She's also the CEO of Cloverleaf University, our partner university, where we educate everybody on everything to do with cannabis, from cannabis economics, cannabis cultivation, or even bud tending, how to serve weed behind a bar. We've got you covered for everything that you want to learn cannabis-wise. It's a physical uni in Colorado with also online classes, and we've had 300,000 students, so doing pretty well. Big up to Chloe right there for innovating in the education space. Meds, he's our creative director, Mehbad Lotfian. He's the guy who was the lead environment designer on Assassin's Creed and many other games as well. I think Medal of Honor and Harry Potter, few big ones. And so the reason why all of our stuff looks so great is because of him. So I take my hat off to Meds.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool. I don't know if you've played Assassin's Creed, but my favorite part about that game is the environment.
It is. That's
forget
what
the
we all love.
storyline and the Animus machine and all of the cool stuff that you come across. The environment looks fucking dope.
Yeah, it does. It does. And that's why, like, Dr. Green environments, the images that you see, it's like the characters are amazing. You're like, wow. But you look at the background, it's like, what is this environment? I want to be in there, you know?
Yeah.
I want to smoke some weed.
Yeah, you know it. Callum, our social media guy, he's handling all of that. He's very cool, celebrity from the UK, who's been on a few TV programs. Kyle, our best salesman you've ever come across. He's lovely. His aftercare is ridiculous. He treats every customer like they're his family. So I love that. And Rochelle Wood, she's a awesome lady from the UK also, who is managing our celebrity relations, which is not an easy task. We have a lot of celebrities. Just to kind of show you a little bit more about how Dr. Green works. I know I showed you the DAP last night, but just to take a quick look at that again, we have a digital universe, and the universe has 20 planets. I guess these are the environments that you were talking about, right? Wanting to go and chill and light one up.
Yeah.
So we have these worlds that we created, and they've all got their own cool backstories. And on each planet, essentially, will be tied a subset of strains. So you'll come to our strain list and you'll see all of the cannabis strains that we have in our facility, the THC content that it gives you, the CBD, the feelings, what it helps with medically, what the flavors are in the cannabis and so forth. You can see all of the different strains within our facility that we're able to grow. Currently, for the Dr. Green platform, we have 208 strains available. And what we'll be doing is we'll be distributing them and moving them around the planet. So as they come in and out of seasons, it'll be kind of gamified, right? So your planets will all have, at different times and different seasons, they'll have different weeds that you can get a hold of. So you mint your NFT from your world that you like, the backstory to, and then we flick and change the cannabis strains, and you can battle for them in a game later on, and I'll tell you all about that sort of cool stuff as well. But once you've got your NFT, you come over to the marketplace, which is disconnected right now. Oh, my Trezor is out. Bear with me.
So I have wallets on my ledger. I can connect my wallets to any of these planets, and I'm in, right? With a digital key.
So it's the way I'm doing it right now. I have a Trezor safe wallet, and you just connect that. Excuse me. Log into the dashboard, and you'll be able to see your NFT, the background of what's going on, and basically your store, your virtual storefront. So you'll be able to, I guess, run your Amazon shop from that.
Yeah.
As we related it to that earlier. I've got the wrong key here, so it's not the best time. We'll maybe cut that from you.
Yeah. But no, that's a really cool, I think, presentation, and just simplifying the idea that you're using creative imagination to create these different categories of, let's say, call them planets, and then there are these different strains, and people can enjoy that imagination to explore these different planets and strains, and connect with those people, and purchase for recreational use, or sell. And an incredible team, incredible team of different people, and a mature skill set across all these different things. The university I love that, because it's not just about selling somebody a $10,000 digital key to become a seller, but it's actually about getting them through a really rigorous a franchise model of onboarding a retailer to make sure they understand the product, they know how to sell it, they understand jurisdictions, they understand laws, they understand best practice, they understand what not to do, and run it as a business, hit the targets, understand.
We think that's really important. Education is key to any successful business, and not just being able to actually sell cannabis, but knowing exactly, like you said, the legislation and the different ways that you can advertise it. It's all really important to running a successful store. I've managed to just connect my key now. So just to come back to the DApp for a moment and show you how
the dashboard looks amazing.
For your guys, the essentials are, the analytics on your orders, your clients, or your profit over the last X amount of time. How much money have you made each day, and how is your business doing? You can manage your clients through here. So it becomes your CRM system. You click, you add a client when you've got somebody who wants to buy weed. You send that information off, and it will go pending initially. And when it's pending, it means that we, the regulated company, are going to check that customer, make sure that they're in a legal country, check their ID and things like that. We have to KYC every customer in our system. And so that's all part and parcel of the whole, accountability discussion that we've been having. We do all of that for you, so you're not responsible for any data or sensitive information. We handle all of that. Once that person has passed verification, they're in your sales pipeline as a lead, and you can begin to distribute to that person. And so you just choose them from the list, and the product list will change depending on where they're located, or if they're in a medical country like New Zealand, depending on what the doctor has said they can have on their prescription. All of that information will be displayed here. You'll be able to see not their medical history or their prescription, but which strains of cannabis have been prescribed to them. Or if they're in a recreational place like California, you'll see all of the weed that's locally available to be delivered within 24 hours. And so you take a look at it, you have a look at what's available. It's an inventory system, right? So it's connecting even our warehousing system to this front end. So you can see exactly how many grams of this particular cannabis is available. And when somebody wants to buy it, you just add the order to the cart, send that off. When you're happy with the order for that person, you literally just accept the order, confirm it, and that will come through to our back end. And now our back end will review every order that comes in. We'll make sure that the order is legit. It's from a customer who's verified. Nothing has gone wrong technically. We put human eyes on it, and then we verify the order. And when we verify it, essentially the invoice is generated and sent to your customer. And that customer can pay the invoice with Google Pay, Apple Pay, cryptocurrency. And once it's paid, you'll be able to track all of your commission in this statement. So you'll see exactly what orders have gone through, what orders are outstanding. When orders have been paid, you'll see that it's been paid. The profit will be converted to Ethereum and it will be deposited into your wallet. And that happens every day. It's smart contracts. So you don't need to wait for an accountant or, you don't need to wait for Diane to come back off her holiday or whatever it may be. Every single day, the contracts issue the payments for the profits that's been made that day. And so you're able to see reports on all of that and see how your clients are doing, how your orders are doing more in depth. And you can download CSV format files if you want to review your business in more depth with an accountant or the revenue to see what countries are making you money, what clients are making you the most money. And if you don't want to do any of this procedure manually, you can just generate an API key, get your documentation, and plug the back end of this software into your front end website. And so you could go away and build a Shopify style store that allows you to, fully automate the entire process. So you just then have to literally advertise that you have a storefront and put that information out for people to go and click, create their own accounts and order their own cannabis. And then you get that residual income.
Yeah, that looks amazing. That is like a proper system for someone to run their business. As you got the dashboards, you got data, you got KYC, you got the strange, you got invoicing. That's amazing. Like,
it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, for $10,000, you're getting a business, and
it's a business. It's
incredible.
a ready-made cannabis company, ready to rock and roll. And not only you pay your $10,000, you're entering into a community as well. Because what we're trying to do, democratizing access.
Yeah. How do you help these businesses to manage the money side of things? Because it's a whole new world for a lot of people in terms of accounting, banking, managing different currencies. Maybe, is it just Ethereum that you convert it into, or can a person can convert it into any other currency that they like?
Yeah, because we just pay you to your wallet. So you just set your wallet address. Wherever your NFT is being held is your wallet address. So you've got your NFT on your Trezor or your, what did you say? You have a ledger. You have your
I have a ledger,
ledger. That wallet address where your NFT is where the funds are going to go to.
Yeah, and can I choose what type of funds I want to receive? If I don't want Ethereum, I want Solana, or if I want
only ETH for now. We are working on something. Do I spill the tea on your show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. So we're working on a stable coin, actually. In the background.
Yeah.
The stable coin will be utilized to transact cross borders financially with not only our system, but other cannabis companies too. Because right now, one of the biggest headaches in cannabis is banking. You can have a legal company and licenses, and the banks just don't want to touch you because they don't like cannabis. And so you have to go to high-risk vendors, high-risk merchants to get these merchant accounts. And you'll pay average 7.5%, and then you'll need to have around 10% of the transaction stored in a rolling reserve for 180 days, because the amount of chargebacks is very, very high in this industry. Like gambling, online casinos, they have a really high fee structure for their banking. And so we're developing a product right now, which will be a stable coin. It will be on our platform first. And that coin will be able to not only just be used for moving funds around in this cannabis ecosystem, it will also be able to be used by other cannabis companies to accept payments from their customers. Because the way that our banking DeFi platform will work is we'll give them merchant accounts and they'll be able to accept a Visa card payment or a MasterCard payment. And that Visa or MasterCard payment will purchase the coin. The coin itself is what was purchased, not the cannabis. And so because it's a digital currency, it's impossible for your customer to make a chargeback, which means we bring the fee structure right down from that 7.5%. We can get that fee structure down to about 3%.
Wow.
And so that's big for us because we are going to have hopefully a lot of transactions on this platform. So we want that fee structure to be low, and we will pass that on to other cannabis companies as well for them to utilize in our ecosystem. Whether or not they decide to use the Dr. Green part of our system, that's up to them. But if they've got a cannabis shop in California, everybody knows that it's federally illegal for them to bank. So where is their money? It's in cash, under their mattress, at their home, in the back of their store, or in a safe.
Yeah.
And that's a risk.
Yeah.
That's a risk of home invasions. It's a risk of manipulation. So there's so much negative.
I think that Dr. Green is solving so many problems that people don't just realize. Even Joe Rogan 2 weeks ago learned the concept of debanking. Like people,
really?
Yeah, he had Mark on his podcast, who's like an investor, and he was teaching Joe Rogan about the concept of debanking, how banks debank you if they don't like you, whether you're using, you're trading with bitcoins or you're trading with, weed, and they just take you off. Also, like, people in Canada that were protesting the COVID-19 mandates, and they were debanked because they were protesting and blocking cities.
Yeah.
And so this idea of debanking and this idea of, banks don't allow you to trade and enable these kind of markets for, not because this is not safe, it's because they have their own agenda, right? So it's incredible to see how Dr. Green is solving real problems in other industries by simply creating a business, which is, its own core business.
Yeah, thank you, man. Well, we're working hard on it. So
yeah, no,
let me share some more stuff with you. I think you'll be.
I was the CIO at a bank 6, 7, 8 years ago in New Zealand. So I was working in the space of, how can the bank understand the challenger banks, understand the fintech ecosystem, understand different payments, change its core banking system, change its payment systems, create a regulation to understand how we can sell data to these guys using our customer data. So I worked in that space for a long time. So I understand the psyche of these people who were creating the legislation for what open banking should look like in New Zealand, and the guys that were sitting on the board of that organization were every single representative of the traditional bank. So they would control the delay and the time of when we are ready to create open banking regulation. So I get it, and I come from that world, and I understand the technology and that banking aspect as well.
Open banking is an interesting tech. Actually, it's fairly new in the UK and Europe. We've just partnered with a finance provider for now for open banking as well, but I'm not too sure how it's going to be received by the client base. What's been your feedback on open banking and people, the uptake of it? It feels quite intrusive to let a company take money directly from your bank account, even if you are authorizing it on the app. And there is just some part of it for me that just feels a bit too intrusive and almost the opposite of what crypto is doing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's kind of gone cold in many ways. It was very hot around that 2018, 2019 time, and it's kind of gone very cold. And I think the biggest thing that people are kind of worried about now is this idea that governments want to create a digital currency and how they can use that to control people and monitor people and see what they're spending their money on.
CBDCs.
Yeah. So there's... and you're right. I think any technology that tries to take away more of your privacy and control and give it to government or someone else, that's where I think the fight is now. And we are seeing this with the shift in like, Trump winning the election, David Sachs becoming the AI and blockchain czar at the White House. You talk about, like RFK Jr. becoming the Secretary of Health. We talk about, going after fentanyl epidemic in America. He wants to put 100% tariff on countries that bring in drugs in America. So all of that stuff is really leading towards regulation and technology that allows people to have more privacy, more control on their money, and more accessibility. So I think any technology that's more intrusive is eventually just going to be on the decline scale, and we'll probably see, we'll have to look at the investment data to see what that looks like, but you would assume all these investment firms will try and steer away from that kind of technology. And I think open banking hasn't really taken off in many ways. I don't see, I haven't heard of what the Starling banks are doing, Revolut. I know that they have, some kind of technology, but I think they're pretty much sort of, being taken over by blockchain and new technology.
Yeah. I think DeFi will wipe the floor with all of that technology anyway.
Yeah,
Because
DeFi
people
would.
want it to be decentralized, right? Why do we want to pay central banks or any bank fees for holding and monitoring our money and determining when we can and can't have it and use it and where we can, and then giving me the statement at the end of the month? I'd prefer to have that all decentralized and we the people share the ledger, right?
Yeah. I think
There's
people are
no
waking up to the idea that banking is, traditional banks, they're just all a marketing scheme. They just want to sell you a mortgage. They want to, you look at every single person that's alive today they're all lived in a debt-based society and a debt-based system and currency system. And they want to hold people to that, and that's all about control. And it's this whole inflation, it's all about control. It's like, we'll increase how much you spend, so you spend less on this, so we can control the world in this way. And then people realize, like, well, why do I want to partake in the system? Why do I want to go open a physical store and sell cannabis when I can go to Dr. Green and open a digital store? Not partake in all this bullshit and stay out of it and engage in a fun place where I can interact with a fun community, be a part of a global community. I'm doing good products. And my customers are getting better products.
Everything, man. I mean, people want to fit in. People want to, we're tribal by nature, isn't it? So, the way that we are intrinsically built as humans is to flock together and rise up and create movements. And Dr. Green is a movement. It's a movement that's been faced right now by a whole bunch of celebrities. I mentioned Rochelle Wood earlier and her managing of our celebrity portfolio. Actually, I think it's real good timing to show you.
Yeah, have you guys got Mike Tyson? Because he's quite big into the weed.
No, I love Mike Tyson's weed company. I think he's got a very strict non-compete agreement with his brand, though. So we were unable to knock the door of Mike just yet. But who knows in the future?
You guys got some really cool guys.
Yeah, I mean, we have, artists like Rick Ross right now, actors like Marlon Wayans or Sasha from over in South America. We have the world's strongest man, Eddie Hall, who's creating Beast Buds with us.
Eddie's amazing. I love Eddie. Every time he pops on my phone, it's just like, give me some more of Eddie.
But Eddie's a real cool guy. He'll be hosting a space with us in the next day or so, I think, as well.
Oh, awesome.
Watch out for that. But world champion boxer Shannon Courtney, she's a women's champion right now. UFC fighters, all walks of life are on our platform. And so we partner with these guys to really bring this to market. And so that these guys, they want to show their customers, their audience, their fans, they want to show them some love, show them that through cannabis and access to cannabis. So they've partnered with Dr. Green, all for varying different reasons, right? Some people have family members that have died of cancer that could have been treated better with cannabis, and others, Tony Yeo, rapper from G Unit, he is, he wants to get as high as possible with everybody and spread that love and joy. And so everybody's got their own reasons. Shannon Courtney, she damaged her knee in one of her fights. She was told she wouldn't walk again. The ligaments were pretty screwed. Came to our facility. We treated her with some CBD and THC products that were specialized to her DNA. And
Wow.
the recovery that she had from that meant that in 8 months, she was told she wouldn't walk properly again and her career was over. And 8 months later, which is, I believe, in January of next year, she's fighting again. So she's back in the ring for a world championship belt. So,
Wow.
she's doing it to bring sports and athletes recovery medicine. So everybody's got their own story with this. Yeah.
Accessibility. I think what you're talking about is the Dr. Green platform and all these digital retail stores in different parts of the world. They just open up accessibility. I mean, if I can just think about New Zealand, for example, I just had somebody on my show, Linda Wharton, and she runs a forum where she looks after thousands of New Zealanders who've been injured by the COVID vaccine. Thousands. So how do you if I can create a retail store in New Zealand and I can use the medical marijuana legislation to create all these products around the world available to all these different people, athletes, injured from different medicines or vaccines or any walks of life, then all of a sudden they are, it's not just the big pharma that you have to go through and the approvals. They're getting access to all these different products.
Correct. It's so good. We made a little advert. I don't know if you've seen the advert with some of our celebs. Have you come across this?
I did watch some content online, but I'm not too sure which specific one you're talking about.
I'll just play. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see that?
I can see a screen. Yeah.
I'll just play it for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Ever wonder what the future looks like? What it holds for people like us? The unorthodox thinkers. Or the innovatively inclined. A single idea can transform worlds. Things that were not possible, made possible. It's time to seize the moment. To start a revolution.
Let's begin. Tell the team to start.
The future belongs to us. All of us. Be a disruptor. Rewrite the rules. Shape the future. Be the future. Create new worlds. Will you join the revolution?
Yeah, I love that. So much of this is all about culture, there's a real world out there of these people who have audiences and fans They're musicians, business owners, athletes. It's a real culture. It exists in the world, and so much. It's like, enabling that culture, and people want to be part of it in the real world. It's not just about holding a digital key and bragging about it with your friends. It's actually, enabling that real world.
Yeah, I think that by plugging into that cross section of, like you said, that digital and the real world stuff, it's why we're doing the merch, right? Because we want to have tangible physical things that people can have and hold and make sure that it's a part of their. I think just flashing on the screen there was the Jacob and Co collaboration.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
That we've done. Let me. It's the first collaboration that Jacob have done outside of Bugatti, the car company. So we're quite proud of it. Jacob put together 100 unique pieces for our celebs and for our platinum partners.
Wow.
And I've got an advert that's actually due to come out, but I'm going to leak it on your show.
Oh, yes. I love leaks.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man.
Wow.
It's nothing to me but bright.
Wow, that's
pretty
messing
cool
with my
piece.
human emotion, is my desire of wanting things.
Yeah. Yeah. Frank Muller as well, another amazing watch brand
look at
who have
that.
stepped up with us and designed a cannabis watch, Dr. Green. So really pleased with them. You mentioned the artwork earlier and the backgrounds and the environments.
Oh, that's
and
the best
way
part.
that it was
This
built.
is the best part.
I think a really good video to show you would be this, because to get an understanding of what actually went into that artwork was insane. So let's not forget, NFTs have a picture attached to them, right?
Yeah.
And so regardless of all the amazing smart contracts in the background and all of the business application, we wanted to make the front of it look cool, make people excited about getting a collectible as well as this business. And so where you look at something like Bored Apes, where they take the base character and then they change the traits, right? So different sunglasses or a different hat.
Yeah.
We didn't want traits. So we developed 5,145 completely individual, unique characters. And each one is represented as a 2D picture and a 3D model that can be used in the game and stuff that we're developing later on, and small cartoons and things like that that we've got in the pipeline. But we drafted the guys from Disney Pixar in for 4 months. They came in and they designed all these characters. I'll play the video. I'll let you see. It's such a journey.
The journey of creating the artwork for our NFTs was an adventure in itself. We started by exploring countless concepts and collaborating with multiple artists, pushing creative boundaries to find the perfect vision. We knew from the start that a basic character with a few traits wasn't enough for us. We wanted something truly extraordinary, a collection of 5,145 unique characters, each with its own personality and story. To achieve this, we assembled a dream team of artists who've worked on some of the world's biggest movies and AAA games, from Harry Potter to Medal of Honor and beyond. The creative process was intricate and detailed. Each character was meticulously crafted using a combination of 3D software like Maya, Blender, Photoshop, hand painting, and even a touch of AI to add depth and uniqueness. It took over 4 months of dedication, artistry, and collaboration to bring these characters to life. What we've created is more than just an NFT collection. It's a work of art backed by the passion and talent of world-class creators, designed to stand out and make a lasting impact in the NFT space.
It's amazing because, these characters, when you look at them, they draw you in because they're so unique. They're not like, they they're just original is what I love about
Yeah.
them. And I think one of the cool things, if I own one of those, I'm definitely making a real life sculpture of one of those and have have it in my podcast studio as my Dr. Green. You know,
They're
it's
just that cool.
Yeah,
They're just
because
that
it's
cool.
it's
And,
that cool. You can just take it to
I
a
fought
local.
with the CEO for a long time to
Yeah.
get there. It was his. That was all him. Like, I was ready to settle on some of the art way before.
I just want to
them.
get
He
on
was
with
like,
it.
not right. And I'm like, dude, like, I'd been going maybe backwards and forwards for 2 months, and
Yeah.
I was like, I just couldn't find the right artist. I ran competitions on Freelancer. I had people battling for their artwork. I had guys flying in and out of the country to come and present us their artwork.
Yeah.
And it was months and months and months.
Yeah.
And then Meds, our creative director, who was a Sony guy, had this team that were moving from one studio to another, and they had 4 months where they were just without work in the interim. And so he was like, if we get these guys to come, they will make the best characters ever because they designed all the fucking Disney Pixar characters.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, let's go. So we got them in, and wow.
Yeah, if you get the right studio, I mean, in New Zealand, in Wellington, we have the studio that created all the characters for Lord of the Rings. And you know, if you get like the right studio, and you know, it's just like boom, you're gonna get some amazing characters.
$1.5 million just for the artwork.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
It's amazing.
But
And do these characters
it shows.
are animated in the video game that you have from Dr. Green?
Yeah, so we haven't created the game yet, but they are being currently. The game's real dope. So imagine you and I have got a planet each in the Dr. Green universe.
Yeah.
And you've got purple haze on your planet, and I don't. And my customers want purple haze, or I want to sell them purple haze. There are 3 ways that I can do that. The first way, I can be a capitalist, right? I can just go and buy an NFT from your planet if one's available, or on the secondary market. I can bid and try and buy one and have your planet as well as my planet. And now instead of having 10 strains on my store, I might have 20. That's the capitalist way. Then we have what we call the diplomat. So the diplomat, I could go to Discord, Telegram, and I can be like, hey, Adnan, I see you've got this world. Do you want to do a profit share with me? Yeah, cool. What do you agree? 80-20 split? Okay, done. So I go on my DApp, I put your wallet address in or your username, and I 80-20 split, send. You'll receive a notification. And when you say yes to that, you sign the transaction on chain with your wallet, and it creates a new smart contract that puts your weed on my store and my weed on your store. So now I've got access to Purple Haze. And when one of my customers buys Purple Haze, you'll get 20% of the cut. So it's a way of creating diplomacy in contracts and global commerce by working together. Then the third way, which is arguably the most human way, it's called the warmongerer. So I can go on the game, and it's like a Battlestar Galactica meets Farmville. So I can grow cannabis on my world, and I can nurture that and grow an army to protect it. And if I want, I can come and fight you on your planet. But boom, we battle. Me and you battle it out. And if I win the battle, I get access to your strains for 1 month. And if I lose the battle, I'm in timeout. I just can't fight you again for a week. I have to go fight somebody else. But I can't fight you again. And now to win and lose battles in a war, you have to have strength and weaknesses in your characters.
Yeah.
Of course. And so the way that I determine strength and weakness in different people's characters, and I'll show you what.
That's so dangerous, man. I mean, we're gonna start a nuclear war trying to get other people's strains for a month.
Yeah,
that is possible. So dangerous, so addictive.
And so, it's trying to sign me in again.
See the likes of Elon Musk. Elon Musk just got #1 in Diablo. It's like, where do you have time to play Diablo to be #1 in the world? You know?
How the hell does he have time to play Diablo? That's insane.
Yeah, and so these games, they just suck you in. Especially if I can get someone strained for a month. It's like, okay, let's go. It's war.
So there are some important traits on chain. So client count, transaction count, And finally, there is a transaction volume somewhere in these. Oh, here. So there's the client count, the transaction count, and the transaction volume. Now, all of those metrics are visible on chain for every NFT, right? So the strength of your character is literally determined by how good you're doing in business. The more customers you've got, the more transactions you've made, the more money that's gone through your NFT, the stronger your character is in the game. So if I find I'm losing battles in the game, go sell some more weed and come back and play again, because this is work hard, play hard in that order around here. So we encourage people to work harder to obtain new strains on the platform. So the gamification side of it is literally to be able to gain new strains for your real store.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Man, I want to get involved now. I need one of these keys.
Minting is open on the 12th, buddy.
So tell me about that. What have you launched so far, the mints, and where people can buy them?
Absolutely. So www.drgreennft.com, that's the primary hub. There's a Discord, there's a Telegram, there's Twitter, there's X, there's Instagram. You can go check all that stuff out and search Dr. Green, you'll find us. And mostly the marketplace is on our website. So if you head over to our website, you'll be able to mint your keys from there. Now, initially, which is today, we minted the gold and platinum NFT holder keys. So those celebrities that we saw and all of those guys, they got their keys minted first, and we'll start to build out those celebrity stores for them. In addition to the gold and platinum, we have the pre-sale guys who paid in advance, couldn't wait. Friends and family and other people who just were dying to get involved in the project earlier on. And so we've had a few pre-sales come in, and we've got a round specifically for them at 10 p.m. tonight, UK times, pretty much 2 hours from now. So once I get off this call to you, I'm going to go and form that contract on chain and get it ready to ready to go. Beyond that, tomorrow at 4:20 p.m. in the UK.
You're on fire, man. You're on fire. You got to get these out.
Yeah.
Right before Christmas.
4:20 p.m. tomorrow.
Perfect gift to buy as well.
Say again?
Perfect present for Christmas. Get your friend or your son or your,
perfect present to buy. Yeah.
Your partner. Get them a digital store to sell weed. I mean, hey, let's go.
Business, right?
Yeah.
Grow them a business.
Buy them a business. Yeah.
Don't buy a liability. Buy an asset.
Yeah.
This is an asset that will appreciate, and it will allow the person to trade. So, it's greenlist tomorrow, the 11th, and then on the 12th of 12/12 at 4:20, we will open up to the public. So that's when everybody can flood in and come and get their keys who didn't make the green list, who didn't pre-sale, and we can just start working together. And then we'll go into workshops. We'll start doing workshops with everybody who's purchased. So all the key holders will fall into a flow, I guess, of information. That information will start off with introductions to the platform, introductions to the dApp, how to use it, walkthroughs, meet and greets with the team, conversations regarding setting up business, getting your storefront built, website development, things like that, legislation, advertising, and we're going to take people on roughly a 6-week journey to get their business launched. So buying the NFT is just the first step. And then beyond there, it's learning, education, building, distributing. And, we don't want to just throw everybody to the lions and let them go and try and make their businesses work without that kind of guidance. So we put all of that structure in place to basically take everybody through on a walkway on how to be successful, because if they're not, we're not. Yeah. So we have to hold their hands. I'd say unfortunately, but actually I'm quite looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I think it's amazing. And I think the way that you guys do this is incredible. It's not like, leave them in the dark. It's all, you guys are having fun by, doing this together with everybody involved, and I think that's the energy that I'm picking up, which I think is the fun piece. You love what you're doing. It's not a quick scheme to just sell some keys and then look for the exit door. You're actually creating something that changes the world for the better. You know, like one of the ideas that just kind of popped in my mind is like the amount of unemployed people that are in the world, you know, and they're on all these unemployment packages from governments, and they're paying them more than $10,000. I had a guy on my show yesterday. He talked about boot camps, how these youth offenders in New Zealand that are from gangs, they go into this boot camp that are funded by New Zealand Corrections Department. And, you know, the energy that you have from these guys, they're hustlers, they're earners, you know, they're doing a lot of bad things. They sell drugs. It's like, you know, if you want them to reintegrate in the world, maybe you can convert all that energy into, you know, getting them a key, and they can have their own business, and they can work hard, and they're going to go to university, they're going to study, they're going to understand best practice. You know, it's like use new thinking and new technology and new markets to enable all these people instead of trying to fit them back into an older structure. And so many people are just not going to fit in.
We have a massive prison reform initiative going on in the United States currently with some of our partners over there. Actually, I'm not allowed to say too much about the specifics of it. I got told off the other day for one of my staff members tweeting about it. And it was a shit show.
But I guess you're involved in marijuana and weed, and there are so many, you know, look, Kamala Harris, she imprisoned so many people for just like, you know, having small amounts of weed with them. So I think, you know, it makes sense for you to have some involvement in that world and enable that world and make it better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's whole, you know, we spend billions in uplifting people from poverty and, you know, and for just being, you know, incarcerated for little crimes like smoking a joint.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to being able to change the world with it. And I'm going to shoot because my tech team have tried to call me 4 times, and we're about to launch the next smart contract.
Awesome.
For the
Thanks so much
what
for
we're
coming
about
on
to
the
launch
show,
is
man.
the round for the green list, and so they're wanting me to put all of those wallet addresses into the contract. So I've had 4 missed calls whilst we were talking. I was trying to ignore it, but they keep ringing
Good.
one after the other.
No, I appreciate your time.
I'm going to say, Adnan, it's been an absolute pleasure to sit with you and talk today on your podcast. Thank you so much for having me. Like,
anytime, man. I'm going to look into this. I'm going to get myself a key as well. I really want to get involved, and I'm definitely going to get this out there and share it to my network as well. I think there are just so many great things that can come out of this. It's been awesome,
Nice.
and it's great to connect, and we'll stay in touch and see how it goes as well.
Yeah, you know, once I like to consider everybody as part of our family. So we're very, very big on community, developing, growing together. And a lot of companies, they have these wars, these battles with each other, right? And you find that it's only on the small level that everybody's competing. And at the higher levels, everybody's cooperating. And so what we want to do is we want to take this industry into a cooperative environment, because there are a lot of people in this industry that just do not work together, and the governments and the regulators are only just starting to ease to it. So we need to provide them with technologies in order to accelerate that, to show them that there can be accountability and good faith in this industry. And we can only do that if we work together as a people. So I look forward to welcoming you into our crew and our family, and being able to transact with us and learn from us, and we learn from you, and hopefully you can show us what you're made of.
Absolutely, man. Awesome. Let's go. Hey, have all the best with the launches, and we'll stay in touch. Thanks so much for coming on.